What's up, guys? Welcome back to Trash Films Home Video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Psycho Goreman, or PG for short. And when I say it quickly, I just say Psycho Goreman. I don't know. So this was brought to us by Steve Kazansky, who is part of Astron 6. I saw a lot of people kind of touting this as a return to Astron 6. They're back. I don't think it was a for sure. Astron 6 isn't really credited in this, so I don't think it's necessarily an Astron 6 film. There are some of the guys from Astron 6 in it. Obviously Steve Kazansky, who wrote, directed, produced, worked on special effects. Matthew Kennedy is in it. You don't know it's him. He's in full makeup. Connor Sweeney's in it. You also don't know that it's him because he's also in full makeup. Adam Brooks, who plays the father, is in it. But they were just in it. I don't think it was like an Astron 6 production. There is none of that. Astron 6 does not come up. Sounds like somebody's coming to my door. If you don't know who Astron 6 is, Astron 6 is a Canadian film collective, a group of people who make movies. They came out first with, well, they did a lot of shorts, but Father's Day is one of their movies. This is the one that sort of, made them famous, I guess. And then they did a film called The Editor, which I actually did not care for. Let's see, what else? What else was Astron 6? Is that it? Now, Steve Kazansky did The Void, which is an amazing horror film. And Manborg, which I also enjoyed. If you haven't seen The Void, you probably have. If you haven't seen The Void, if you haven't seen Manborg I think is a little more taste subjective. You kind of got to be ready for the goofiness and the fact that it's pretty much the entire movie is kind of green screened, except for a lot of miniature work, and it's a wacky movie, but it's a lot of fun. Anyway, Psycho Goreman is genre bending, to say the least. It kind of pulls influence from a lot of different places. I mean, at its heart, it is a kids adventure science fiction movie. Just with that sort of Steve Kazansky flair and the Astron 6 flair and decent amount of gore. Definitely not a kids movie, but when I say kids, I mean Liam. I'm talking to my son right now. Liam, you would like this. I think that this is right up your alley. It's not too gory. Okay, it is gory in certain parts, but it's so over the top and not in a serious tone that it doesn't come across as, disturbing or off-putting or whatever in any way. But it's basically a kid's adventure film, science fiction movie. These two kids, Mimi and, which this also becomes a joke in the movie, her brother. I don't remember his name. Let me see. And reason it becomes a joke in the film is because Psycho Goreman can't remember his name either. He either calls him Boy or Mimi's brother. Luke. Mimi and Luke come across this sort of thing with a gym inside of it. She starts pushing buttons and the gym comes out, and that night PG is awoken. PG is from the planet Gygax, and he was a former enslaved alien who found the gem, and it gave him great power, and he was able to you know, vanquish his enemies and end his slavery, and he became sort of a leader and killed a lot of people, aliens people. And so in this, when he's awoken, he basically goes out, and the first thing he knows to do is kill. So he comes across this group of criminals, and he dispatches of them very quickly. Mimi, he comes. Wait, I'm trying to think. Does she? I think they find him, and quickly find out that Mimi actually, since she has the stone and she is possessing it, she can control him. So he has to do whatever he wants, even though in the beginning of the film, all he wants to do is rip her little head off because he wants the gem. But she can control him, and so he kind of is her little, not slave, but, you know, before they leave that day, when they find him, she basically tells him to sit down and wait for them in the morning. So he has to literally sit down for an entire day and wait for her to come back, because he is under the control of her, like, fully. And the people that Psycho Goreman rose up against find out that he is awoken, and they send some people to kill him, to end his life, because they know that he's going to, if he can, get back and, well, do the same to them. That's basically, I'm not going to go too much more into it other than that. I don't know if you haven't noticed, if it's anything that is brand new, I'm not going to give a whole lot away. I'm going to give you a basic plot and then give you my thoughts on it, and then let you find everything out. I don't like to say too much. I highly enjoyed it. You know, the quote on the back here, hilarious and absurd, the kind of genre of cinema we dream of. This is definitely, like I said, a genre bender. It's sci-fi, it's a little bit of horror, it's a kid's adventure movie. You know, you get kind of the feeling of like Monster Squad-ish, Goonies, even like films like Super 8, which I'm a huge fan of. And also you're getting feelings of like, it's funny because I'm when I'm watching the movie, these things are coming into my mind, like, oh, this reminds me of Star Wars, or this reminds me of Power Rangers. And then in the features, you hear him talk about his influences, and it's basically everything I was thinking in my head. So you definitely get that, like, there's some Power Ranger-y vibes, and to all the horror guys, don't, you know, when I say something like that, like, listen, I was not a huge Power Rangers person, but let's not mistake the fact that that show has a lot of fans, and a lot of people grew up on that. So that being an influence and sort of finding its way into the film is going to be inevitable for people like Steve Kazansky. There's, you know, and it's a physical effects fan's dream movie. It is a creature effects fan's dream. You know, these people, this is full body suits. There's miniature work. There's, you know, it's like I said, it's a physical effects person's dream kind of movie. It's physical effects everywhere. Like I said, the miniature work is pretty cool. And if you've ever seen Manborg, that feeling, that like miniature feeling that Steve kind of gives that movie. It's in PG, but it's like with way more money, and it looks a lot better. I just think it's a hell of a lot of fun, and I think especially if you have kids of a certain age, like obviously I wouldn't show this to a 5-year-old, but my son Liam, who I know is watching because he watches all my videos, you know, there's nothing, this would be good for his age group, about 10 to 13-ish, maybe older, let's say 10 to 15. I'd say this would be a good movie for like you to watch with someone that age. It's going to entertain you, and it's going to entertain them as well. I just can't say enough good things about it. I think it's a hell of a lot of fun. I think it's very, very, very inventive. I mean, we have characters like, there is a scene where PG's sort of like, well, I don't know what you want to call them, crew, his minions, his you know, the people that he's like sort of an overlord of, not an overlord, but you know, he gets a hold of them via a TV that he kind of takes control of and can kind of contact them with. And they come down, and one of them is literally a walking bucket of body parts that shoots blood out of his like little hands. It's funny, it's inventive. I just can't say enough good things about it. I had a really good time with it, and I think that you know, if you're a fan of like just genre cinema in general, if you're a sci-fi fan, if you're a fan of movies like, you know, Super 8 or The Goonies or Monster Squad, if you're a fan of Power Rangers, like this can kind of appeal, this movie can kind of appeal to a lot of different people and a lot of different age groups. And yeah, I think Steve Kaczynski did another bang-up job. I thought The Void was one of the better horror films to come out in a long time, and when it says family classic, you know, I really do think that this is going to be something that can possibly be like something that not all families are going to sit down and watch Psycho Goreman, but some people are going to definitely sit down with their families and watch this movie. And I think it's perfectly fine. Yes, there's gore in it, but it's so over the top that it's not, and there's nothing else. There's no real like sexuality or anything in it at all. I said no real. There isn't. There's no sexuality in it. There's no like, there's none of that. So yeah, I would definitely say pick it up. This would be a buy for me. Now we're gonna talk about this actual Blu Ray here in a second. But stream it. I'm pretty sure it's on Shudder right now. Yeah, this is a Shudder. Shudder was involved in making this at least. So yeah, you can. I know that for a long time, it's been on like Amazon Prime, I think. Rent it, stream it, buy it, whatever you want. However you consume your media. Obviously, I'm a physical media person, so I bought it. It's worth your time. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Watch it with the whole family. Okay, let's talk about this Blu Ray. Now let me just start talking. Let me just show you something. You ready? I have never. It just goes right through it. Just right through it. This slipcover is about as loose as I've never come across a slipcover that is that loose. It just literally, it's almost like it just doesn't touch the sides. unbelievable. Now, ordered this from Amazon, so it's not in the best shape. There's some dents in there and stuff. So yeah, the slipcover, honestly, if it's this loose, like even, I can even hold, I don't even know that I'm gonna keep this slipcover at this point, because like, what is the point? It's so loose. Anyway, you do get a reversible cover. You know, the cover that when you pull it off is this, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this artwork. I don't know why. It just doesn't do it for me. This is the reversible cover. I like this one a lot better. That actually, for me, kind of is the feeling of the film. I mean, you've got Adam Brooks over here like running. Yeah, this gives me like, when I look at this and now seeing the film, like, this embodies the movie. This, not so much. This gives me a different, I don't know. Now, this is from RLJE Films and Shudder. This little addition is pretty neat. This is a little merchandise guide. So it is set up like some of the old school mail order merchandise catalogs from the 80s. I think that this is more supposed to be sort of a early, it's never really said in the movie what time period it is, but I'm feeling it's more of like an early 90s feel. I mean, you've got stuff in here like, come on, this thing, the little punchy bag for kids. Now, at first I thought this was gimmick 100%, besides the fact that obviously, like, you even get this here, puzzle fun, you know, like a crossword puzzle you can do, and here's a maze that you can do with your family. Just the way that this thing is set up, it's very nostalgic for me, and I think it's, you know, it's a little bit, it's just a small thing, but it's a cool little touch that I think it fits the movie, it fits the tone, it fits the feel, it fits what I feel is the time period of the film. And I actually went, and some of this stuff is actually for real, obviously, which when I opened it, I kind of figured the action figures, the glasses you can actually buy, the t-shirts. Now, here's the thing. They also have things like the Crazy Ball, right? Which wouldn't be that hard to produce, which Crazy Ball is a made-up game, obviously, made up by the little girl in the movie. But things like the Frig-Off game and the full Psycho Goreman bed set, you know, which is on this website only available in twin and full. But a lot of this stuff, I was like, did they really produce some of this stuff? Well, you go to the website, which is Plastic Meatball, and like I said, the figures are real, the t-shirts are real, the glasses are real. They have listings for every other piece of merchandise on the website, but they're all sold out. So I think that the stuff that I thought was kind of like, did they really make this? Like, did they actually spend money to create these products to sell? I don't think they did. I think that's just gimmick part for the film. Like, most of this stuff is sold out. The game is sold out. The Crazy Balls are sold out. The toothbrushes, the punching bag, the door knocker, the pajamas, the bed set, all of it is sold out. The blanket, the party supplies, yeah, come on. Are they really gonna make? No, I don't think so. But this little addition is pretty. This thing is it's a simple little thing, and it makes the whole package a little better. Now, nothing is going to help this slipcase. I don't know how they managed that, but this is literally the loosest slipcase in the history of slipcases ever. The movie looks good. You know, movie looks fine. It looks good. It's, you know, Blu Ray. It looks good. And we do get a decent amount of special features. We get a director's commentary, which I listened to pieces of it. It seems to be very, very the kind of commentary that I like to listen to. Extremely informative. I didn't listen to it all. Just sort of skip through it. We've got interviews with the cast and crew. We've got a feature on the fight choreography, the music, a bunch of behind-the-scenes things. We get an interview with Adam Brooks. We get an interview with one of the alien characters. So it's actually interviewing the character, not Matthew Kennedy, the guy that played the character, the actual character. Let's see, what else is on there? There's a couple fight things. There's a whole previs segment. It's got a decent amount of features. And I'm actually pretty, besides the slipcover, pretty impressed with the Blu Ray. It's, you know, it's not like a super crazy collector's edition, but, and there are versions of it that are either released now or going to be released that are a lot more collectible, that come with a lot of other things. But honestly, for me, like, this is like perfect for me. I don't, for this movie, I don't need all that extra collector-y kind of stuff. But if you see it and you do want that, then you can search it out. I'm pretty sure, I know there's a Canadian release that's got a bunch of things. Diabolic DVD was had pre-orders up for it, sold out, and I think there's also an Australian release. A lot of people were releasing Psycho Goreman, but it is definitely for me a must-own, and I'm really glad I have it. And yeah, Psycho Goreman, Steve Kazansky strikes again. I'm a big fan of his. Big fan. He literally does everything. There's a featurette in here, like inside the creature shop, and he's in there just making, because that's where he sort of started, was with Astron 6. He was like the effects guy, and then he went on into directing, and he's still doing effects. So guy did literally almost everything on this. Like, he had his hands in every little piece. So yeah, that's all I got. Definitely gonna have one more unboxing coming up, and then review-wise, I don't know, just whatever tickles my fancy. So yeah, that's all I got. We'll see you next time.